Hey guys, so this is about long-term review for Honda Elevate. So I have driven this car for an year now, and I've driven for like 11,361 kilometers. I've done a few long trips and a few, of course, the daily usage is also there. The long trips, the longest one have been from Hyderabad to Kolkata, and that's like twice. So that's like a 1500 kilometer stretch. It's quite a long time there, right? And along with that, I did a Hyderabad to Ooty and also, which is like 800 kilometer odd. So that gives me a fair idea how it behaves for a city drive as well as long trips. First, I will start with the pros, and then I will cover the cons actually. Well, the pros is in one word, like I'm absolutely in love with this car. If you are trying to have some fun, it responds pretty well. If you are concerned on the suspension, it's damn good with all the 4 and 5 passengers, and everything is comfortable. Even on the long trips also, I think whoever I had the co-passengers, they did not really complain much on it. And I had like 5 people traveling with me on a couple of occasions for the long trips, and they were absolutely fine on the comfort level of this car. Okay, so that's pros number 1. The drivability and the maneuver, those things are really awesome. You can like speed it up. I'll try to do that maybe. You change it to maybe 4,000 plus RPM. You see the noise, you see the growling sound, and you see the speed going up. This is, by the way, in the 4th gear, right? And it moves up to 120. You just love this car actually. So whoever actually complains of the absence of turbo and all those things, right? I've never really felt of any absence of turbo. You just drop the gear and disappear. It's like that fast, that responsive. And of course, it's a Honda, so it's super reliable. I have not really faced any sort of issue till now with this car. I think, yeah, so in a brief on the pros, there are a lot of pros, so I'm not really covering each and every one of those. I'll try to maybe touch base on the cons that I have faced. The first con is specific to my car. I don't think it's been there for other cars. The con is actually with the infotainment system. Sometimes what happens is it's all of a sudden gets stuck, gets hanged, and then it does not respond. So now if I'm doing this right, it responds back, but at that time it does not do anything, and after like certain 1 or 2 minutes it just restarts, and that's an inconvenience, a pretty big inconvenience if you're on a highway and you are really in a need of a map and all those things, and then it goes hanged. So that's an inconvenience. That's point number 1. The point number 2 is I don't really like the if you're doing a left indicator, it entirely shows up the camera screen, right? So that's not really a cool thing, because if you're having a map, then you are not really able to see the map when you're doing a left indicator. That's a bit of a con. What they could have done is like this, like they could have shown it this way, show the map and then show the image show the camera, but that's one negative I think they should address. And the third point is this actually, like even though it's bright sunny, sometimes it tries to be extra smart, and in the infotainment system it goes out dark, and I need to manually push it again to bring the brightness up again, right? That's kind of a small thing though, but they could have improved it. One more point is, like if you see, I actually have a thigh support. So my height is 5 feet 11 inch. If you are on a higher side, right, on the heights, you might face some issue on the thighs support, especially if you are on a longer trips. So if you are going for a 800-900 plus kilometer on a day, you might have some thigh pain. So what I did was I actually added this thigh support here, and it works pretty fine. It's not a game changer, but they could have maybe keep the thigh support in mind, but that's okay. Other than that, the mileage is a bit on the lower side. On the highways you will get like 15 kmph if you are going at 3000 score around RPM. Like in my case also, I'm currently getting 15.3, and my RPMs are always around 3000 RPM and all. I don't really do any mile munching kind of a thing, like always go in 2000 RPM and all. I don't really do that, and with that only I'm getting a 15.3, and this is of course with the E20 fuel. So yeah, 15 is on the lower side though, but that's okay. One more thing is I will try to show it. There is a bit of engine noise. Not engine noise, the outside noise actually. I will try to rev it up on 4000 RPM, and you can see there is some noise. I actually love this noise, but those who have some problem with this noise, they may find it irritating. But one easy fix for this will be, like, you can actually add a rubber beading, and you can do some door damping there, which reduces the noise. If you're going on 2000 and all right, it does not really make a lot of buzz basically. It only shows prominence when you are more than 3000 RPM and all. And also if you are actually having a music played, it does not really matter, to be honest actually. So I think that's more or less the cons. One con with the service center as well. So I think maybe you might already be knowing, but like many of the other service centers, Honda service center also tries to oversell a bit. They will always try to ask you to buy something extra which you don't really require, maybe, right? Do some extended warranty stuff, do some Teflon and all those things. They will try to paster with that. So these are all minute points actually. So in overall, if you see, right, I'm pretty happy with the overall performance with the car. The reliability, of course, is Honda's reliability is top notch, and when you are driving, right, you feel like you're living it actually. You just rev it up, you rev it above 4000 RPM, it makes you alive. I really love that, and super happy with this car. I'm planning to drive this car for the next 15 years if I can have that. And so for Honda, maybe I would request them to address all the small issues which people are complaining that can actually increase the sales drastically. Like they can actually provide a cruise control for a VX variant, like mine is VX variant. It's good to have a cruise control here, it's not there. And they can actually manage the engine noise and those kind of things. Many people actually complain about the 360 camera. Honda started providing that actually with the Apex kit now. But even if you are not having the 360 camera, I think this thing, right, like that left camera is pretty helpful actually. What you can do is you can just turn it off, turn it on, and then you don't need to even see the mirrors, the left side mirror actually, and that is pretty handy. And honestly speaking, I have never really felt the need of any 360 degree camera. I have driven in very narrow roads, but if you know your car, if you know good driving, you should not really feel the need of the 360 degree camera, because the windows are pretty big and the mirrors actually covers all the endpoints, so that should not be a problem. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. I will make some updates if I get my infotainment system fixed, and that's the only major concern at this point. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.